Finally, we have the timber cutting charge. There are numerous ways to employ this charge. You can either have it as we do here, placing the charge on one side of the tree, and then placing the kicker charge higher on the opposite side of the tree to ensure direction of fall. Or you may simply cut into the tree, place the charge inside that cut, and then once again placing the kicker charge higher on the tree, ensuring direction of fall. Or if you choose, you can simply encircle the entire tree with deck cord, something like a ribbon charge. All charges are primed using the modernized demolition igniter system, more commonly referred to as MDI. MDI consists of a high-strength or low-strength waxing cap attached to various lengths of time fuse or shock tube. These waxing caps, when paired with detonating cord and fuse igniters, can be used to create numerous firing systems. Here's a training board with some of the firing systems and demolition accessories the Ranger uses. First, the M81 fuse igniter, which is used to ignite time fuse and shock tube. Second, the M11, M14, and M15 firing systems, which come equipped with a high-strength waxing cap and are used to detonate all standard military explosives. Here we have the M12 and the M13 firing systems. These are equipped with a low-strength waxing cap and are used to detonate additional lengths of shock tube. And finally, we have some of the explosives the Ranger uses. Detonating cord, composition C4, TNT, and a flex linear charge, which can be used to blow walls and breach doors. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please focus your attention on the far side of the pond, then you'll see a white Connex which doors will be blown open using the flex linear charge. You'll also witness the detonation of some of these other expedient charges.
Wow, was that loud?
Here we have the targets for your demonstration. First, the ribbon charge. Notice the smooth, clean cut effect. Second, the shake charge. Notice the large hole blowing the 1-inch steel plate. And when properly employed, composition C4 is capable of falling inside street. Now that you've seen some of the capabilities of composition C4, some of its characteristics are that it is virtually insensitive to shock or friction, and most likely will not detonate when struck with small arms fire or handled roughly.
That'll wake you up.
Absolutely insensitive to shock or friction. You can be beating around without any fear of detonation.
Ranger!
Hey!
Another technique which the Rangers train is military mountaineering. The next narrator is Sergeant First Class Overway, the United States Army Ranger. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sergeant First Class Overway, an instructor here at the Benning Faithful Ranger School. I have served in various light and airborne infantry units, most recently as a platoon sergeant with the 101st Airborne Division. Currently, I'm assigned to Alpha Company, Training Battalion. Rappelling is an integral part of the mountaineering instruction taught during the Ranger course. It's a technique of descending a vertical surface by means of a mechanical device, and it's taught for several reasons. First, it helps the Ranger overcome an inherent fear of heights, and second, it gives the individual confidence and teaches the Ranger an additional capability. In order to rappel, there are certain pieces of mountaineering equipment which are essential. First, the Kermanel rope. This rope is 11 millimeters in diameter and 150 feet in length and has a tensile strength of 4,800 pounds. Another characteristic of this rope is its lack of elasticity. That is, it will only stretch 2% under working conditions. The Ranger is also taught the use of the soft knee, or Special Operations Forces mountaineering equipment. The soft knee is used for rappelling, belaying, and climbing. Notice the full-body climbing harness constructed of nylon webbing. The utility rope, which is 9 millimeters in diameter and 14 feet in length,
and attaches to the climbing harness to full points of contact. The figure 8 descender, which acts as a friction brake device, and the locking snap link, which has a temporal weight of 2,000 pounds. Additionally, heavy leather work gloves can be worn by the ranger to prevent burning of the hands. To rappel, the ranger will face the climbing rope with the anchor point to his left. He will form a bight in the rope, proceeding by the rope through the large opening of the figure 8 descender and into the opening gate of the locking snap link, which he then tightens. The ranger will then don his heavy leather work glove. To descend, the ranger merely faces the anchor point and walks backwards down the cliff. If during his descent the ranger desires to stop, he simply applies the brake. That is, he tightens the girth of his right hand, and his right hand will hold his weight and control his rate of descent. His left hand is merely a balancing and stabilizing agent. To continue his descent, the ranger will loosen the grip of his right hand and continue his descent down the cliff. It may be necessary to haul personnel equipment up a vertical surface. For this purpose, the ranger is taught the use of the vertical haul line. It is constructed and lashed at the top of the cliff with a sufficient climbing rope to reach the bottom. The climbing rope is ran through a pulley or snap link, and the ends of the climbing rope are tied together, creating what is known as an endless rope. The ranger then engages the snap link into one of the butterfly knots, and using the knotted hand line, begins to climb to the top. As the ranger nears the top, the next butterfly knot becomes available, and the next ranger can begin his climb to the top. Another type of rappel is the Australian rappel. This type of rappel allows the ranger to observe in the direction of the descendant. He uses his non-firing hand as his brake hand, thus leaving his firing hand free to fire his weapon during his descent. In the event that a soldier becomes slightly wounded and a litter is not available, the ranger is taught a method of evacuation called the buddy rappel. The patient is secured to the ranger using a nylon runner and a snap link, which is engaged in the ranger's own snap link. The patient is then placed in front and across the ranger's lap. If during the descent the patient requires medical aid, the ranger simply stops and applies aid. Once again, the ranger will continue his descent to his body. You may recall the ranger's commanded on rappel before descending and off rappel after touching down. The term on rappel implies that the ranger is ready to begin his descent and those below him should be on the lookout for falling rocks and debris. The term off rappel implies that the ranger has touched down, cleared his rope, and the next ranger can begin his descent. Another type of insertion technique the rangers are taught is the use of the fast rope insertion extraction system, commonly referred to as fries. The fry system consists of a 3-inch diameter hemp rope, 100 feet in length, and is attached to an aircraft using a modified H-frame. Today, you will see a alert team fast rope into the demonstration area on the far shore. First action you will see is the aircraft commander stabilizing its aircraft over the target area. Once stabilized, a rope will be deployed from the aircraft and the rangers can begin their descent. Utilizing this type of insertion technique, allow alert teams to be inserted into a heavily vegetated or urban environment in a short period of time.
A helo coming in.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the demonstration area on the far shore. Currently, the